Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is MegaShadowFist, and welcome back to Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. And when we last left off, we began what, not necessarily the final court session itself, but I think we finished up the last investigation section of the game, and we were cross-examining Iris. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hit continue, and go from the save point. Here we go. Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff. Iris, where were you standing when you witnessed all this? What do you mean? Well, if either of them had noticed you, they might not have continued their battle. I wonder if that's true. The two of them, they were standing near the garden stone lantern. I was watching the whole thing from behind. It was dark where the two of them were, so I think that's why they didn't see me. So it was dark in the garden when the murder took place. Tell me, what did Miss Maya Fey do after she was struck? But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. What happened to the victim's staff then? I'm not sure. The area was very dark, so I really couldn't see. I think it got knocked away somewhere as the fight escalated. That makes sense. That would explain the need for the dagger. Mystic Elise raised the dagger to strike, but Mystic Maya dodged it at the last second. Then the dagger struck the lantern and fell to the ground. And then at some point, Mystic Maya picked it up. Nothing sounds especially strange yet. What did the victim do when the weapon was stolen from her? Let's see here. So, going back. But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. You're saying that Maya Fey turned the tables on the victim? Yes. But Mystic Maya wasn't herself at the time. After all, her life was in danger. I still can't believe it. The idea of Maya cornering someone with at knife point is just silly. As they say, a cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal. I believe the correct description of a cornered fox is scared and petrified. Your animal analogies have grown tiresome. You were the one who started it! Anyway, so after Maya Fey backed the victim to the stone lantern, what happened next? That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Are you absolutely certain that's what you saw? Yes, I'm almost certain. Almost? The garden was dark. I couldn't really tell who was who. What? Are you... What? This is not... You can't... What? This isn't a... You can't... But... You can't... This is not... You can't... Okay. What did she just say? So, in other words, it could have been someone else entirely. We know that Maya Fey was at the inner temple that night, and that the woman that was killed was Elise Donim. Isn't it fairly obvious who attacked who? I don't have anything to counter that yet. Well then, witness, please continue with your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. The two of them faced each other for a moment. Then Mystic Maya rushed straight into Mystic Elise. Then Mystic Elise doubled over and fell to the ground. So she was stabbed in the stomach, huh? Yes. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed. Where did the dagger go? I have no idea. It was dark and I couldn't see. According to the detective who found the dagger, it was stuck into the pine tree, quotation mark pine tree, in the garden. Most likely it was flung toward the tree after the struggle. That is the most likely explanation, yes. After being stabbed in the stomach, did the victim collapse right away? Or actually, after being stabbed in the stomach, did the victim collapse right away? Now that I think of it, she seemed to stare at Mystic Maya for a while. And Mystic Maya stood there, not moving an inch. It felt for a moment like time had just stopped. But then, suddenly, as if the spell had worn off, Mystic Elise fell over. It seems like a reasonable story at first, but there's one thing that is completely impossible. The very idea of Maya stabbing someone. That alone is impossible, which means this faulty testimony must contain another contradiction in it somewhere. Alright, let's go ahead and... honestly, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to save so that, you know, in case we end up getting like a guilty verdict or something, we can load with all the dialogue having already been seen so we can just skip past it. You know, Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff. But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Though there's a picture here, so I feel like we need to present something for this. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Suddenly, hold on, let me check something real quick. Let me look at the knife. We just got this, so we might have to present this. Found behind a tree in the inner temple garden. The blood is being analyzed now. Then she's... You see, I was worried about this, too. Like, I knew, because, like, I didn't spot, like, a contradiction at first anyways. I was worried that we're gonna start this off kind of lost. Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff. Okay. But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive, with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed. Well, let me check. Let's look at everything. An occult magazine featuring Hazakura Temple, touch check for details. Shows Hazakura Temple and the surrounding area. Yeah, that's not really going to do anything for us. Alright. The Hanging Scroll. Misty Faye's image is obscured by gravy. Taken by your only pupil. Received before the... This might be it for all I know. I don't think so. Received before the lights out bell, the night of the crime, protects evil spirits. A regional weather report. Oh, they didn't specify a time, so. Have the victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints on it, but it is not the murder weapon. Had a sword hidden inside. No one knows this except Detective Gumshoe and I. Loss of blood from stabbing back. Hold on! I get it now. That's a Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. This is why you check everything. Oh, we need to present it to the picture, huh? Your Honor, what do you think about the witness's statement? I'm not sure I follow you. It clearly contradicts the, I thought... You don't sound very sure, Mr. Wright. Objection overruled. I knew it, I figured. I don't think that will mean any point to the judge. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. I guess it doesn't directly contradict the whatchamacallit, it contradicts this one. Elise's autopsy report. Here we go. Something about you just isn't right today, Iris. Huh? Until now, I didn't think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. However, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions. What do you mean? What's so wrong about my testimony? According to you, Maya Faye stabbed the victim who had her back to the stone lantern, correct? Oops, I hit the A too quickly. Yes, that's right. But in that case, the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach, right? Yes, I think so. But, according to the autopsy report, the cause of death was due to blood loss from a stab wound in her back. Ah! This proves that the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris, it appears another seed of doubt has sprouted from your testimony. I love the sound of like the double slam that made from glitching out. Ah! What? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? Ha! It's simple. People are like books. We've all got a front and a back. You get my drift? Is that all you have to say? I can also say that darkness loves to play with the human mind. Could you please knock it off with the cheesy proverbs and illogical metaphors already? The point is, too much of this testimony just doesn't make sense. Throwing away a useful staff, the people fighting being mother and daughter. And now she falsely claims that the victim was stabbed in the stomach. There certainly are some inconsistencies. Well, Iris, how about it? Well, it's just... If you ask me, you're just being too naive about the whole thing. What do you mean? There are 253 distinct types of bitterness in coffee, but to pick out each one requires total concentration and the use of all the senses. Were you really concentrating on what the witness actually said? Prosecutor Godot, explain yourself! The witness was quite unambiguous about her own ambiguities when she said that the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly. A human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light. Light! By the way, did you know? The Inner Temple has a rule that on nights when an acolyte is there training, the stone lantern in the garden is to always be lit. I did wonder what that stone lantern was there for. Well, if that's true, shouldn't the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly? Normally, yes, Your Honor. But according to the head nun, Sister McKee... No, hold on. We saw the snow was melted around there, so, nope, stop! On the night of the crime, it was impossible to light that stone lantern. Impossible? It hadn't been used in a long time and the wick was no good. Do we have anything, do we have, a picture of, the whatchamacallit? I don't think that we do. Burnt letter, tracks photo, crime photo, the courtyard. No, this is, the actual, not the actual crime photo, but the fake crime photo. No, we don't have anything. But but aside from that, there were still, whatchamacallit, torches that could be lit around, and the snow was, I don't know, maybe I'm looking too far into things. It hadn't been used in a long time and the wick was no good. In other words, it had to be nearly pitch black in the garden that night. If it was nearly pitch black, then... Whatever. There could have been a faint light coming in from the training hall, but that's all. Most enlightening. Yes, that illuminating fact has chased all the contradictions away. If the staff was dropped, it would be difficult to see. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. We can't see the demons that lurk in the night. That's why humans are weak. Isn't that right, Trite? No! Order! 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 Here, Your Honor. Let me present the stone lantern into evidence. Maybe it will rekindle the flame of truth in your mind. Stone lantern added to the court record. Why is the judge just sitting there with that look on his face? Let's check the court record and see. What does it say? A lantern for the Inner Temple garden was not lit the night of the crime, but there were still the other torches, so... Your move, Godot. We don't have the evidence to prove that, though. What's wrong, Your Honor? Was that flame too hot? This lantern! There's something written on it! Why? It's written in blood! Oh boy! So the judge didn't know about that. Yet. Written in blood? It says Maya upside down! What the? Oh yes, that's right. After being cornered and then stabbed by Mystic Maya, Mystic Elise didn't fall down right away. She must have been writing that on the stone lantern behind her, with the blood that was draining out of her body. It certainly looks that way. Hang on just a minute. What are you all talking about? What do you mean, what are we all talking about? We're talking about the message written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern. It is as clean as a whistle. Could it be? He can't see the bloody writing at all? Now that I think of it, he did say something to me yesterday. That'd explain why he didn't see the whatchamacallit on the... Oh, because can he only see in red? That explains why he didn't see the bloodstains on the... That explains why he couldn't see the bloodstains on... Or the ketchup stains on... on whatchamacallit's apron. On Maggie Bird's apron? That explains it. That's interesting. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. So that's what he meant by that. In any case, this is obviously an important clue. We now know that the crime scene was dark. And that the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godot, anything further? Mr. Godot! Okay then, let's move on. Godot is literally shaking, and somehow I don't think it's from caffeine overdose. I believe it has now been established that Miss Donium was killed by Maya Fey. That's just wrong! Now it's time to turn our attention to you. Yes, sir. After the victim died, you did something, didn't you? Let's hear it. We're all ears. Witness testimony, Sister Iris's cover-up. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Kudain tradition, so I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. Then I used a snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple and... I used the Shichito to alter the way the wound looked. So you moved the body? Yes, I was raised at Hazakura Temple. I owe a great deal of thanks to the Fae clan, but even so, I never imagined that Elise Donium was actually Misty Fae. I've committed a terrible sin. A terrible trick of fate. I believe you're looking for a twist of fate, Your Honor. I intend to return to the inner temple after taking care of the body, but... You were spotted by the head nun, correct? Yes, and that's why I couldn't go back. Your story makes sense, I suppose. Mr. Wright, go ahead with your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Sister Iris's cover-up. First, we're gonna go ahead and save. Why don't we? Why don't we? Why don't we? We better save. I hope you save. If you don't save, well, too bad. Then you're going to get eaten by a snake. You might be wondering, what is that? How does that make sense? It doesn't. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. So you waited until everything was over before making a move? No, it's not like that. She saw someone murdered right in front of her eyes. It's not surprising that she was a little timid. Yes, I suppose that's true. Sometimes when I'm watching lawyers argue back and forth with each other, I feel so helpless that I just sit quietly and wait for them to reach a conclusion. Isn't that your job as a judge to mediate the argument? It wasn't until Mystic Maya saw me that it finally dawned on her that what she had done. Alrighty then, ready for action. Awkward pause. We're not really ready for action, but maybe we are. I don't know.